What's up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode. Today is Tackle Tip Tuesdays once again. Today we're going to be going over another technique that you guys can use fairly year round. I think it's best to use it in the summertime, but like I said, you can use it from spring, summer, fall, winter, any time of the year, and it works very well. I've been using it now for a little over a year since I learned about how to do this technique, how to rig it up, and where it's best to use it at and everything. So I'm going to go over it with you guys today, and hopefully it'll help you guys out some on maybe learning a new technique to throw out there to hopefully help you catch more bass. And pretty much that, guys, that's going to be on the line of finesse fishing. It's going to be the good old drop shot. As you can see, I got rigged up here. You got the drop shot right there. Pretty much your drop shot is going to consist of just a few things. You mainly I throw it on spinning gear, but you can, however, throw it on bait casters, because I've seen people do it. I've never really done it myself. I just like to throw it on spinning gear because it gives it that more finesse feel. So, but usually you want to, I always tend to throw mine on anywhere from a medium heavy to a medium 7-foot spinning rod with, I don't know, anywhere from 8-pound fluorocarbon to 12-pound fluorocarbon. Really just depends on the season and everything. So you can just take it based off that. I feel it works best if you want to get a, I guess you could say a medium on your, pound for your line. 10-pound test would probably be best for any time of the year. For me though, it's 8-pound, like I've always said, 8-pound in wintertime, 12-pound in the summertime. So take it as it is. Pretty much a drop shot's pretty basic rig to set up, guys. And I'm actually going to go over how to set one up. I know I got this one pre-set up, but I do have another spinning rod over here that I'm gonna put one together on and show you guys step by step on what to do. But first, pretty much all your drop shot will consist of is just a little octopus hook like this. Preferably, I can't remember what size this is, guys, so forgive me for that. I think it's a number one maybe, or a number 2 octopus hook. And then of course your lure. Then you're going to want to leave your tag in all the way down to your weight. And your weight can consist of 3 different styles, which I'll go over that here in a few minutes with you. And we'll also go over where's best to throw a drop shot, and where at, and what time's best for it, and everything. So just sit back, guys, and hopefully this will help you guys get out there and learn a few things this summer with the drop shot, and hopefully help you guys land some more bass. Go pro. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. And first thing of all, please excuse my poor little Raggedy Ann table. CCG headquarters is still a work in progress. So yeah, just pay no attention to the table. But here I got some different examples of some lures I'm going to show you guys that I like using on a drop shot. Like I said, personal preference may vary, but this is just some of my favorite plastics that I like using. We'll go over this and the hooks and the weights first, and then we'll get into how to properly set up the drop shot, and like I said, where to use the drop shot at and when to use it. So pretty much, guys, as you can see here, most of the baits I use consist of kind of like a minnow type, either a minnow or a small shad type lure. This right here would be the new Flatworm by Berkley. These, honestly, they work amazing. And you can actually use them as a Ned rig too if you want to. They work very well as a Ned rig. I actually landed my personal best smallmouth being 4.5 pounds, almost 20 inches long, with a Flatworm. Another good plastic that I've been using since I've got into throwing the drop shot is the Zoom Z Drop Worm. This is the green pumpkin. That thing is phenomenal right there. It's got great action in the water, great length to it, everything. Another great one that I like using is the Guggen Baits Dragon Drop, which you can shaky head this one, Ned rig it, and drop shot it. This is also a very good one. And then pretty much it's the same thing right here as the other Zoom. It's still the Z Drop Worm, but this is the greeny weeny one. This is also money. In some clear water situations, this right here can be money for you guys. Now hooks, like I was saying at the beginning of the video there, a good little octopus hook like this. I believe this is a number 1 or a number 2. I could be wrong. If so, please comment the correct size or name for it. But that's the type of hooks I love using for my drop shots. There's also a newer hook that I've been experimenting with. This is actually a hook produced by Guggen Baits. It's just for their drop shots. And as you can see here, it's got a little plastic barb right here that holds your plastic on there very well. I'll actually use this hook, guys, when rigging this up to show you how this actually works right here. Now, as far as the weights go, I have to get the other one out. Right here is one of the weights you guys can use. This right here would be a teardrop style weight for drop shotting. This is a 1/4 ounce. Let me get in the terminal box here, and I'll show you guys another style. It's a very small finesse one that I have, because the other one's rigged up right now. A cylinder style. This one right here is a 1/8 tungsten, Wu tungsten cylinder style drop shot weight. This is very good for the very finesse situations where you don't want it to drop too fast and too hard. This right here, that's money. A 1/8 ounce cylinder or teardrop. Let's see, we're gonna do it with the teardrop one since I got a cylinder rigged up on there. Okay, guys. Now on this setup, this right here, like I said at the beginning, you can throw a drop shot. I like to throw it, like I said, on a spinning setup because it gives it that more finesse feel. And anytime I'm thinking finesse fishing, I always think spinning setup. However, though, if using the right size weight, you can throw it on a bait caster. I've seen it done in videos, and I've seen friends throw a drop shot on a bait caster. So if you want to go with that option, feel more than welcome to. You can. I've never tried it because, like I said, I like the just overall finesse feeling of it being on a spinning setup. The other one, like I said, I was throwing it on, and that's a 7-foot medium heavy. This right here is a 7-foot medium. I don't know, when it's real finicky out, I like using the medium. When I know they're pretty active eating, I'll use a medium heavy. That way, you know, like I said, as far as line goes, I prefer to use anywhere from 8-pound to 12-pound fluorocarbon. If you're one of them type that don't really like changing your line size in and out due to seasons, meet in the medium and go with 10-pound fluorocarbon. However, this is on a braid to leader setup. I usually don't throw it on a braid to leader, but this is the one I'm going to show you guys how to rig it up. It really don't matter if you use braid to leader. Like I said, I prefer straight fluorocarbon, but we're going to use braid to leader today. And pretty much in this one, guys, if you know anything about knots, you're probably thinking, well, I'm going to have to use a leader knot. Actually, no, you're not. Pretty much the knot that you'll be using in this entire setup is one knot only, and it's going to be the Palmer knot. Very simple, easy knot. We'll eventually go over some knots in some later on videos. And if you don't know how to tie a knot, just watch this video very closely and I'll show you guys. So first thing of all, you want to rig your hook up first. You're going to want to run the line through the eyelet like you would a Palmer knot. Then you're going to want to run it back through the eyelet. And most of the time you don't want to leave too big of a tag in. Well, in this situation, you do want to leave a tag in. A fairly long one. That way you can get the right length that you want. We'll go over that as we're going. And then, like I was saying, guys, just tie your knot there. And then, of course, like I've stressed in other videos before, please be sure to wet your line when hinching it down. That way you don't cause any frays or burns in your lines that may cause a weak spot and possibly cause you to lose a great catch. Okay, you notice you got this, all of this tag in left here. Normally you would cut off. Well, in a drop shot scenario, you don't want to cut the tag in off. What you want to do is grab the end of it. You're going to want to run it right back through that eyelet. Well, this blind old man could see it. Okay, once you get it ran through, pull it all the way through. And ultimately, your hook should roughly set like that. That's with this hook and the octopus style hook. And that's about right. I might cut a little bit of that tag in off. You don't want too much of a tag in. Usually I prefer, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches length of tag in. That's probably a little longer. And then most drop shot weights come standard with how this right here, the end of this is. You can see right here the way it's shaped. And pretty much all that is for you to push your line up in it. And ultimately, it will hinge down on your line. That way, your weight don't fall off. As you can see there, jiggling up and down. But for extra, I guess you could say, security reasons, that way I don't lose my weight as much if it gets kind of snagged up, I always like to do just a single overhand knot, guys. Like I said, you don't have to do that, but I like doing it just to give that extra peace of mind, knowing that my weight ain't gonna go flying off there when I launch that sucker out there, or when I get snagged up, it ain't gonna ultimately, you know, slide off. Then all you do is just cut that little piece off. Okay, and pretty much there's the drop shot, guys. All you do then is add, like I said, whatever your choice of plastic is. In this case, I wanted to show you guys where this has that little keeper right here on it. What you're going to want to do is pretty much the same way you would rig up, say, like a Texas rig. You just want to push that through, just right to where it's at the bend at. Bring it back out. You know what, let's get a different bait. That one apparently being used, my bad. Okay, you're going to want to, like I said, push that up to where the bend is. Pop it out. You're going to want to run this all the way up. Then let it come over that plastic keeper right there. Once you do that, you're going to want to kind of put your hook there on the side of your bait to kind of see where it's going to set at to make it flush. And then hook her in. And then there you guys have it. A perfectly rigged up drop shot. From my experience, they work amazing. And the way this works is, if you're not familiar with the drop shot, is once you cast it out there and it hits bottom, ultimately the weight, you know, is going to be on the bottom. Well, what it's going to do is it's going to cause your bait to suspend however much you have of leader line here. And what it is, it's perfect. I think it's a perfect technique for summertime, especially when you're deep fishing offshore structure and them bass are suspended and they're being really finicky. What this ultimately causes is where them bass are suspended and you can't necessarily, say, get a swim bait down there, a jerk bait. You can't throw a crankbait because, like I said, they're suspended from the bottom, jig, Texas rig, none that's going to work. So you want something that's going to be right there in that strike range. And this right here, where it's on that leader line, is ultimately going to have it floating up there in that strike range. And then all you do is pretty much cast it out there, you know, let it, give it a few minutes, let it hit bottom. Once you know it's on bottom and it's around where you feel that the bass, you know, are grouped up at, pretty much the same way as you would work, say, a Ned rig or a shaky head, a jig, anything. What you pretty much want to do, guys, is I'll try to show you, is just when it's on the bottom, you just want to, you know, pop the tip of your rod up a few times. Just give it a couple pops, you know, let it hit. Give it a couple pops, let it hit, you know, reel your slack in, couple pops, let it hit. And ultimately, that should cause a reaction and should cause them to strike at it and hopefully get a good hookup on them. And pretty much, the best places I feel for a drop shot weight, in my opinion now, guys, it can vary for anybody on who you ask. Pretty much, I feel like a drop shot can be used anywhere. It can be used from shallow fishing, beating the banks, all the way to offshore fishing. And as far as offshore fishing, it would go the same as any other style that you would use offshore fishing. You know, your long tapering points, rock piles, anything like that. Anything structure that's offshore to where them bass are ultimately suspended. That even goes for, you know, shallow water fishing. They can suspend in 10 foot of water, be suspended in that 5 foot range, and at 10 foot there, drop shot may get you bit when nothing else will. They can be used great for bed fishing. I've actually used them, I believe, last year for bed fishing. I've seen videos of people doing it and other people using drop shots just for bed fishing. So like I said, it can be a very multiple style bait to use. And like I said, you don't have to fish it deep. You can also fish it shallow. Pretty much any scenario where your bass are going to be suspended calls for a great chance to tie on a drop shot launch that sucker out there and hopefully hook up to the bass of a lifetime. And let's see, like I said, just anywhere as far as offshore fishing goes, like I said, long tapering points, ledges, rock piles, anything structure out there. As far as shallow, just casting it down the bank will work. We've literally sat in, I think, like 8 foot of water before in the summer a few times ago, casting a drop shot over by a few trees that were laying in the lake there, and we were literally hooking a bass almost every other cast. That's how well it worked, because them fish were ultimately suspended. So there you go. We got that bait right there in that strike range, and boom, we got them. And then once again, like I said, guys, you can throw it on a bait caster if you prefer, because you just gotta, instead of like this weight right here, this right here is a 1/4 ounce 1/4 ounce tungsten teardrop weight. If you want to throw on a bait caster, just move it up to maybe a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce, even an ounce if you want to, and then there you go. Now, as far as the weights goes, guys, I actually do want to cover that real quick on why the weights are different. You can see right here, I have a teardrop style weight, and then on this setup, well, if I can get it to cooperate, and on this setup, I have a cylinder style weight. Okay, with the teardrop style, anytime you're fishing around, say, rock piles, gravel, anything to where it could possibly slip down in a small crack is where you're going to want to tie your teardrop on. Because ultimately that's going to cause it to hopefully not go down in that crack. Say if it was a rock, not go down that crack, and of course get snagged on you, cause you to either break your weight off or break your whole rig up and have to retie. So teardrop is very well for that scenario. Now the cylinder style is more for grass, I guess. Well, it ain't, I guess it is. It's more for when you're not around a lot of rock or anything. You're really around more sandy bottoms, clay bottom, mud bottom, grass lines, or even into grass. Even in summertime when you're fishing them grassy spots, real deep grass, a cylinder weight can be perfect to throw in there, and he'll just ride through that grass like it's nothing. There's also a third style of weight, and it's called, let's see, that's a teardrop, no, it's a cylinder. It is, no, it's teardrop, my bad, guys. It is a cylinder style, and it's pretty much multiversal. I don't have that style. I wish I did, that way I could show you. But it's multiversal. You can throw it, like I said, either in rock, or you can throw it in stuff that's not as rocky. It works in both situations. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the drop shot for you. It's a very easy and simple rig to set up. And like I said, it can definitely get you bit in the summertime when them bass are suspended in any situation. From shallow fishing all the way to deep offshore fishing. It can be used year-round if you want to. And pretty much, guys, just I hope this video helped you guys out. Feel free to hit me up for any questions or comments, or anything you guys would like to see me go over in future Tackle Tip Tuesday videos. And hope to see you guys out there on the water using this technique and landing you some bass here sometime soon. Like always, guys, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, help the channel grow. And for all, tight lines, everybody.